The feeling that you get when you sit in a brand new car and drive off is something amazing. But would you believe that you can have a very similar feeling even with a car with 130,000 miles on it? Today, this video, I'm here to tell you how to make that happen. Guys, this is Shanu again with InnoKinetic. Welcome back. I want to talk to you about how you can keep your lightweight sports car on the road, feeling fresh, exciting you every single time you get into it. I want to tell you about my latest Lotus Elise. It's a 2005, which we bought from a retired postman 2 years ago. The car was languishing in this guy's driveway for years, unloved and worn out, beat down by the sun, 130,000 miles on the car. We went and tore this car apart and systematically started refreshing the car. As many of you guys know, I've been at it. My first Lotus Elise arrived in November of 2004. So we've been at working on these cars since then. Of course, in the early days, the cars were new, they were fresh, there's nothing to worry about. But here we are, 16, 17 years later, with cars that are worn out with a lot more miles on it. But remarkably, if you address certain areas of the car, you can end up with a car that feels almost as good and in some cases better than new. So what are some of those things that we should talk about? Well, just like any car has what I would say are wear items, okay? Some of those wear items tend to be consumables. Some of those wear items tend to be failure points that are just known weak links that are going to ultimately fail. In other cases, they are cosmetic things that just take a beating over time, whether it's being the sun from the UV or rain or snow or rocks on the road, just those cosmetics that will take a beating. And as if you got a Lotus, those front canards get scraped constantly. So anyhow, what are those areas and why should you do this? Well, of course, you should do it because you love the car, and driving lightweight cars like this is going to become a rarer and more rare activity because look at what's happening in the world. The manufacturers are moving towards EV, which are much heavier cars, which certainly will never have the feeling that you get from a lightweight car. If you look at, as an example, even the values of these cars, they have been accelerating. The Lotuses in particular, if you look at what's been happening on Bring a Trailer in the last couple of years, it's unbelievable how the values have just accelerated on the Lotuses, the Elise and the Exige, I should say. So we talked about, what are the things that you would want to refresh on a car to make it feel like new? Well, these three areas, the consumables, the failure points, and the cosmetics. Let's address each one of those. Consumables, this is pretty typical. Things like brakes. When you wear through brakes, you've got to replace them. Well, you've got lots of different options there. Replace those and the brakes will feel like new again. Bushings, okay, this is something that a lot of people don't consider on their car. If you change out the factory bushes, in the case of the Lotuses, you have a couple different options. You've got OEM style rubber bushes and you got spherical bearings. The polyurethane and Delrin type inserts that are out there, I'm not big fans of for stiction reasons. But you change those out along with ball joints and track ends and you'll be amazed. We changed just those components on my 130,000 mile beat down Lotus Elise and it was amazing the difference in the car. Now, I should say, we also changed the shocks out at that point, right? Shocks are something that typically last about 50,000 miles. But shocks also can age out like tires. Shocks have a gas charge in them, and the gas can basically work its way through the seals and start to dissipate, causing the shock to perform not optimally. So even if your car doesn't have 50,000 miles on it, if it's 10, 15, 20 years old, your shocks are probably tired and need of a refresh. So that's an area that if you would either rebuild or replace, you'll be amazed at how the car feels again. Other simple consumables are, obviously we're not going to talk about tires. I mean, tires, you shouldn't have tires on your car, especially on these lightweight cars that are old, because the rubber continues to harden. And so personally, my opinion is anything over 5 years old is too old. You should replace those regardless of mileage. Other simple things that change out when you're in there replacing all these things like hardware. Simple stuff, inexpensive, swap those out, very easy to do. Okay, what are the other things that typically are going to result in things that you'll ultimately probably need to replace and help improve the value of your car? Things like the radiators on these Lotuses. The factory plastic end caps tend to crack, so that's always a good thing to replace. ABS modules are now starting to fail, so you can have those things rebuilt. Instrument clusters are starting to fail. You can have those things rebuilt, or you can frankly replace them with the AIM unit like I've done in my car. What was the third item? Cosmetics. Okay, so what's wearing out on these cars? Well, with time, with sun, with weather, the paint is only going to last so long. And one of the things that we've put at the front of these cars to protect the paint is the clear bra. Well, the 3M film that was used originally is getting old, and if it's seen a lot of UV, it's probably degraded. And you'll see some that are really bad. They've yellowed, they start to crack. If it's gotten to that stage, it is very, very difficult to replace. So clear bra is one of those materials that I would suggest that you consider replacing after 5 years. The longer you wait, the harder it is to remove, and inevitably as you're removing it, it also peels paint that's underneath it. So in the end, the product that you put at the front of the car to protect the paint is going to end up peeling off your paint. So something to think about changing out sooner than later. Paint on the car, of course, and the body work. You can't drive and enjoy these cars without occasionally running into something, or somebody running into you, or a rock, or some road debris causing some sort of damage to the car. The good news is all of these things can 100% be repaired, repainted, and made like new. Related to that are things like the headlight lenses and the taillights. Refinishing those with clear coat, amazing difference on how good the car can look. What else on the outside of the car? The black plastic. There are treatments that you can use. If you remember from back in the 80s and maybe 90s, the Armor All product that ended up causing your black trim to actually go gray. Skip stuff like that, but there are some better products like Black Again and others that I think work quite well. An alternative that we have been doing to clients' cars is we've been spraying the black trim black with black paint, and it makes it look amazing. So what else? What are some of the other things? Oh, wishbones. Okay, that's one thing that you can have refreshed. In fact, we offer a service where we strip the wishbones and then we replate them with nickel, and they come out amazing. So you can have your wheel wells just sparkling, to the point where you could literally eat off them if you're that crazy. But it's an easy way to make the car look new again. So these are all, I think all of the easy things that you could certainly refresh on the car, renew on the car to make it feel like new again. And you'll be amazed at all the compliments that you'll get, but frankly, more importantly, the great feeling that you'll have inside. Cars like this, as I mentioned at the beginning, are just becoming very, very rare. So there are very, very smart reasons to do this. We have customers shipping cars to us from all over the country now to mechanically refresh their cars, cosmetically refresh the cars. So we have gotten a lot of experience doing this now, and I can wholeheartedly say to you, it's something worth doing. And if you are comfortable doing it yourself, a lot of it you could do. If not, there's bound to be a professional nearby that can help you. Or worst case scenario, send the car to us. We have customers shipping us cars from all over the country. We'd be happy to take care of yours as well. So anyways, there's this week's video, guys. We're big proponents of refreshing these cars. We think that these are cars worth maintaining and refreshing because the values are going up, but more importantly, the smiles on your face will continue to go up. So there you have it, guys. Leave your questions down below, any comments. Feel free to give us a call. We got our sessions with Shanu, or you can lock in an appointment with me with any specific questions that you may have. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.